Hey y'all, I'm back. How are you? Have you ever been sick and tired of being sick and tired and you just couldn't figure out, why things are happening to you, why you keep finding yourself in the same situation? Um, why do you keep getting hurt like you do? You think you're a pretty good person, right? But you keep getting hurt, or you're not appreciated, you're not valued, you're misunderstood, uh, your ends aren't meeting, just nothing seems to go right. They go right for a little bit and then bam, you're back in the same situation again. The one saying was same stuff, different day, or something like that. Well, it's time to do things differently. If you want a change, you have to do things differently to get a better result. At least for me, that's what I'm doing in my life. My sugar pie used to say, if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, then something has got to change. So, an example for me, oh man, I was so in love with this man, with a man. I loved a man so very much. Oh my goodness. Look, I still get a smile on my face. I loved him so very much. Whew. But we were together for a very, very long time. It's actually like 9 years we were together. And I knew along that time that, he wasn't the right one for me. Um, because he kept breaking my heart. We got along great. Oh, the sex was banging. um, and he was fine as a mug. Oh my God, he was so fine. But I was unhappy. I was unhappy. And, some people may say, well, a piece of a man is better than no man at all. Wrong thinking. Wrong thinking. No, a piece of a man is not better than no man at all. No man at all is better than having a piece of a man. Um, so my day came where he kept cheating on me over and over again, but then he would talk me out of it when I found him in the situation of, that cheating scenario. He'd tell me that I need to stop being jealous, or you're tripping, or he would put it back on me, and I'm like, no, no, no. I'm not jealous. I love me. I mean, I'm not a bad looking individual, you know what I mean? um, so that's not it. But he convinced me that my thinking, what I saw wasn't what I saw, what I thought wasn't, it should have not been like how I was thinking. um, and I just settled for that, until we hit year 9. An incident occurred. I was out at a bar drinking and partying, and something came over me. Go over to his house. So I went over there. A different car was in the parking lot or his driveway. Oh man, you know how you see something and you're trying to talk yourself out of it, like, nah, man, I don't see that car there. Well, rung the doorbell. He didn't come to the door. Long story short, he finally came outside from the back of the house to approach me, and we got into it. And I'm just like, no, you're cheating on me. Now how are you going to talk yourself out of here? It's late at night. Just after, it's late at night. What is this car doing here? Who's that person up in there? Yada yada yada. That broke my heart. It broke my heart so very bad. So I got in my vehicle, went to drive home, tears falling from my eyes. I was so stupid. Should have been out of that relationship. And I was on the freeway and I was rounding a bend, and there was a wall there. And I was about to turn the wheel and run my car into the wall because I felt like I just need, I can't do this thing called life no more. I love this man. I gave him everything that I had of me emotionally, but something clicked in me. And I thought about my children. I'm a single mother. I love my sons. I can't do this to them. It was the love of my children that saved me at that very moment because I was going to turn that wheel into the wall and end my life. But I thought, no, my children only have me. I had to rely on something that was more powerful than myself in that moment to save me. You may run into those times where you have to rely on something more than you, and if you're a single mom, if you're a single dad, um, you know, think about your children. Think about how much you love them. If you're a Christian, the love of God uh, will reach out to God. His love will not allow you to do hurt or harm to yourself because you'll put your faith and your trust in Him. At that time in my life, you know, I relied on the love of my children. I put that above me. That saved me. Later on in life, I began to build a relationship with the Lord and things like that. But it was the love of my children that saved me, and I praise and I thank God for that. But I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. A shift had to occur within me. And when you reach those times, when you hit that point where, you know, a shift needs to occur. If you ignore it, you'll find yourself repeating the same situation. You'll break up with that dude, you'll get with somebody else, and they treat you the same, if not worse. You know what I mean? Or if you're on a job and you're not getting valued, and you'll find yourself quitting that job or going to that job and just hating it. No matter what the situation is, a shift has to occur. If you give into that shift, you'll begin the process to change your outcome. For me, I gave into that shift. I was like, no, enough is enough. I will no longer allow myself to be involved in relationships that did not benefit me. But what boundaries would I accept? How would I develop those boundaries? I love my children. Um, so I had to start looking at what my self-worth was. That's how I did it. I had to learn to, yes, I love my children, but what about loving me? I need to learn to love me. I need to know that I am somebody. I'm a wonderful woman, and I have great value, great substance. But if nobody else appreciates it, I need to appreciate it for me. My sugar pie, that's my grandmother. She's passed. And I now call myself sugar pie. I'm a grandmother and a great grandmother. But I can hear her in my head. She would say, hey now, give yourself a hug. And I would think, sugar pie, how am I going to give myself a hug? Well, guess what? I often give myself a hug. My hugs come in ways of if I experience heartache or pain, if I experience somebody not appreciating me, not valuing me, disappointment and things like that. Sometimes I have to take time out to cry. I have to take time out to think about what happened. I have to take time out because it takes two, if you get into a situation that's not beneficial or conducive to your growth and your healing process, it's not always that other person's fault. You have a part to play into it, and you have to identify your part. For me, with that man of 9 years that I loved, I kept allowing myself to be devalued. And I needed to learn how to put value in me, recognize the value in me, so that if I ever came up against situations that devalued me, you know, I could make a shift, either eliminate that person from my life, or figure out and repair what is broken within me so that I could stand up for myself and speak up for myself. So when you give into that shift, you'll have a different outcome. I'm still single. That was 6, 7 years ago that relationship ended, and I'm still single. He's still in that with the person that he cheated on me with, and that's okay because I use that time to heal. And actually, I've ran into him, but when I ran into him, it was different. It was more like, have you ever ran into somebody that has hurt you and their presence no longer impact you because you have grown? You know what I mean? Um, it's just like, hey, how you doing? All right, bye. Sure, keep it pushing. Young people would be like peace or deuces. I don't know. I'm so lame when it comes to stuff like that. But my point is you can measure your growth at times when you're presented with that same situation again, but you choose to handle it differently. That's your shift. Okay. Um, and that's what I do in my life. That's my mindset. I take time out to cry. I take time out to hit the reset and figure out, all right, how am I going to get out of this? How am I going to not encounter this situation again? Whether it's relationships, whether it's financial, whether it's friendship, you know, any type of thing. I always take time out to hit the reset button and try to improve my thinking, try to improve, you know, the situation, or so that I get a different outcome. So I had to recognize my worth and my value. The other thing is, I had to identify my purpose. What is my purpose in this life? I had to recognize that my life has a purpose. Not only do I have value, not only do I appreciate me and I love what I produce, my children, but my life has a purpose. But what is it? I can't sing, I try. I can dance, but only when I'm tipsy. I can't draw, I can't really cook, but I'm practicing, I'm working on cooking. What is my purpose? Well, here's the key. You know that saying, the grass is always greener or may not be greener on the other side. You can't look in somebody else's yard because you don't know what they're dealing with. You just have to stay focused on the things that you can control. That's your life, and you get one life to live. There's no do-overs. You get one life to live. And I like to look at it as, I'm going to make my dash count, the dash, the date I was born until the day that I die. My purpose for me is, and I pray this every day, Lord, help me to be the best woman that I could possibly be. Help me to be the best Christian that I can possibly be for you, Lord. Help me to be the best mother that I could possibly be for my children and the best grandmother that I can possibly be. That's my purpose. It's not much, but it means a whole lot to me. You see, I think that my purpose was simply to have my children and be those things, be the best person that I could possibly be. And I'm creating this channel to share my journey with you in hopes that it will help you to be the best possible person that you can be in your life. Change your mindset and thinking. Sometimes you need to hear raw from somebody else that has gone through things that may not be popular to talk about. Well, that's me. I'm trying to share my truth, and I hope you enjoy it. I hope you learn from it, and share with me what you're going through, what you're experiencing. That is my purpose. I had to identify my purpose, and I think that is to be the best possible person that I could possibly be. Now, if another part of my purpose is identified to me, then that's cool too. It's just another chapter in my book. The next thing is that I had to change my mindset. It made no difference if I started valuing me. I started identifying my purpose, my reason for being here, the reason why God created me. He created everybody for a reason, and what am I going to do with all that? I had to change my mindset. I changed my mindset by figuring out ways in which I can invest in me. Like I told you, or those that don't know, didn't watch the introductory video. I didn't have a mother to teach me how to be a woman. I didn't have a mother to teach me how to be a mother, how to cook. She taught me how to clean. We had to get up all the time and clean. That's why I'm anal about keeping my house clean till this day, and so are my children. So thank you, Mom, for that. But I had a sugar pie in my life that I saw go to work every day. She kept herself looking nice. And she would tell me, hey, now always keep it sexy. I began to think about what type of woman I want to be, outside of the best woman I can be as a grandmother, a Christian. I had to think about how am I going to invest in me? I started to read books. I started to listen to other people doing or being, what I wanted. I started to analyze individuals that were in my life, and I mentally take or make note of the things that I didn't like and the things that I liked. So I began to develop a mental list. I didn't even know I was doing this, but when I look back over my life, you can kind of see how you start putting the pieces together when you have forward movement and you're in that shift and your journey is, changing. I started to, think to myself, oh, I don't want to be this type of person. I want to be this type of person. Okay, how did they do that? I read a book on it. I surrounded myself with people ministering. So I build up the Christian part of me. I read my Bible. One day I said, you know what? I don't want to swear anymore. I used to swear a lot. Here's a real quick example. My youngest son, Christopher, he was in kindergarten. And the teacher asked the class, does anybody know what a heifer is? Oh, Lord. Christopher raised his hand. I do. I know this because when I went to the teacher's conference, she told me this story and I was so embarrassed. He goes, I do. A heifer is what my mommy calls us. I was so embarrassed. Well, it took a few decades later for me to stop swearing, but um, I just woke up one day and said, you know what? I don't want to swear anymore. Now, there's a few slip ups every now and again, but when that occurs, I feel so convicted in my spirit. So I rarely swear anymore. Actually, the word that I lean on now is dag nabbit. So that was a part of the things that I no longer wanted to do. And tomorrow I may wake up and there's something else I may want to change about myself to improve me. My point being is that that's a part of investing in me. Just as you water a plant every day to keep it growing, you have to water yourself. You have to give yourself that pat on the back every day. Like my sugar pie used to say, give yourself a hug. You have to believe in you when no one else does. Don't worry about trying to prove to other people and defend your case when they come at you and they tell you how you really are. Nah, man, I know how I am. And it's not up to me to prove my case and argue with you. If I argue with you, I'll be reducing myself down to your level. I used to try to prove my point and argue back and things like that. No, I'm 56. I'm better. I'm better. So I just walk away. And that's the other thing. Investing in yourself sometimes takes, investing in me, I'll share my journey, put me in position to where I no longer could I no longer had a desire to move in the same circles that I used to, hang out with the same friends that I used to. Not saying that my friends were bad or anything like that, but I had to surround myself around like-minded individuals, so when you have a goal in mind and you're trying to accomplish that goal, you can't take everybody with you, because sometimes the people that you surround yourself around may not understand your purpose, may not understand your goal. So, it could take you off course. And if it takes you off course, remember, if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired and you don't pay attention to that shift, you'll find yourself experiencing the same situations financially, spiritually, mentally, relationship wise, all the time. But when you surround yourself around forward moving individuals that share like experiences and values, well, guess what? If you do have a setback, you are around individuals, your network or your support system will pick you up and tell you, hey, man, don't do that. Remember, you wanted to do this in 6 months. Remember when you told me that? Well, look, if you continue on that path, you'll get there. They're going to feed into your spirit. They're going to pour into you and lift you up, because you are going to have those setback days. But your setback is not going to set you back as long as it would if you just completely ignored all the improvements that you put into yourself. You may take one step back, but you have that support system in place to where it's like a net, a safety net. That one step back could have been 10 steps back if you started hanging back with the same crowd. An example, if you did drugs or, came out of an abusive situation and you took a step back and got back with somebody who is abusive, that's a big step back. But if you found yourself, if that person called you in the midnight hour, and you found yourself in a lonely moment and that person was like, come through, you'd be like, nah, I'm sleeping. Why are you calling me this late? Please don't call me this late again. And that's so disrespectful. You're standing up for yourself. You're putting value into yourself, and you're letting another person know what you will no longer tolerate. So setbacks are not bad when you don't have to go completely back to the things that had you in bad situations. But if you have a good network in place, your setback would just propel you further in life. So I guess that's what I wanted to share with you today, doing things differently to get a better result in this thing called life. All right, y'all. Like, comment, follow me, share this video. And until we meet again, see you later.